Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20, and I'm here to introduce you guys to a new game that is relatively new, but it's one that I've been kind of tracking the progress of because it's really neat looking. It's one of those games that's currently in alpha, so it's very early in development, so what you guys are going to be seeing is not totally, complete yet, of course. And I'm happen to be playing on the dev alpha version, so this is one that's not even released to the public yet. It's a game called TUG, otherwise known as the Untitled Game, because I think the developers couldn't come up with a good name, so they decided to call it the Untitled Game, and maybe it just stuck. I'm guessing that's what happened. I don't know if that's really true or not, but luckily I happen to have somebody here with me who can help to give me some info. So hello, who is on the call?
Hi, I'm Andrew Davis. I go by Audio on the forums. I'm the lead programmer at Nerd Kingdom.
Cool. How you doing, man?
I'm doing alright. How about you?
Great. So I've been playing around with Tug a little bit, and I'm definitely enjoying it. There's some features of Tug that I'm really excited about, especially because my channel tends to be focused around the modding community. So I'll get to some of that stuff a little bit later. But for now, guys, I kind of wanted to walk through the game a little bit, show you guys what's going on, what it's about, and kind of have Andrew here on with us, so he can talk a little bit about what their plans are and what the future of the game is going to be like, to kind of give you guys just a sneak peek at what it's all about. Sound cool? All right.
Sounds great to me.
Good. So I'm going to load up a world. I've obviously got 5 worlds here already set up. I'm going to load up my most recent world that I created just to demo what it looks like to start out. So Tug is a game that, like Minecraft, is procedurally generated, right? And it'll, have a bunch of different biomes. I look like I spawned in some kind of desert biome. Does that sound about right, Andrew?
Yeah, it's I think we call it the Mesa biome.
It's very cool looking.
Nice.
So you've got this little character that you can run around with, and there's 2 modes right now. I'm currently playing in survival mode, which, if I'm correct, is something you guys just kind of started getting together.
Yeah, about 6 weeks we released our first pass, which was just to get it out there because we really. As soon as we got it on Steam, there was a lot of feedback that people wanted the survival mode. They wanted the traditional survival. They didn't want. A lot of people didn't want the God mode creative, and a lot of people weren't interested into the PvP that we had initially gone with. So we just really shifted focus on the survival mode.
Nice. Yeah, I personally tend to like survival mode because I'm terrible at building neat looking things. So I've seen some screenshots of some of the stuff that has been built in this game already, and unfortunately I do not have the skill set to build something so cool looking. So
Well,
you
we're on
guys.
the same page. I'm not a great builder myself, but there are other people on the team who are.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, obviously some of the textures and stuff you guys have on these things and some of the stuff in the world is really, really nice looking. So to get started, probably the first thing I should find is a small little rock. Is that about right?
Yeah, that's usually what you want to start with.
Cool, I found one. And then I can use that rock to hit slightly larger rocks and get them broken up into little pieces. Now, am I correct on the interface here? When I see a little cube on an item, that means I can right-click it in the world to place it?
Yeah, that means it's a placeable voxel in the world.
Nice. Cool. So I've got, a nifty little stone here, and I can kind of put this back in my hand, and then I can use it to hit stuff. And I've already got a couple of those pointy things, so that's good. So there's a couple different types of rocks that you can get started off with, and then the different small pieces of rock can be used for all kinds of different stuff. So the pointy one is what I want to use to hit trees with, or bushes, or something along those lines.
Yeah, there's the one that kind of looks. It's supposed to look like an axe head, really, and that's the one that will break apart uh, the small trees.
Right. I don't think I have that one yet. I think so far I just have the really pointy one.
Yeah, that one's the pick head.
Gotcha. Yes, that one. So I'm looking for some more of those little rocks that I can use to hit with my larger rock. Now I can't hit too big of a piece of rock to break it up yet, but there's some better tools that I can play with in a little bit. There's a lot of little details in this game too, Andrew, that I like.
Oh yeah, like what?
I just kind of like how there's just so much stuff everywhere. One of the things that's a real minor detail that's probably super minor, but the tall grass, when you walk into it, it seems to kind of bend as your player hits it.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm crazy, maybe. But I think that's just a neat kind of effect. Like, it seems like it gets pushed out of the way as your player walks through it.
Yeah, that's definitely in there. We're just kind of using shader effects to make the grass split apart as the player goes through it. We really like it.
Oh, yeah, it's neat. So let's see if I can manage to find one of those rocks that I need to hit to get, like, different tools. I'm finding all the pointy rock types. There we go. So that's another rock type. That I think is the axe tool piece. This one right here. So let's go find a tree then. So if I just hit like a tree, or I have to find like a really small tree?
If you've built the axe, yeah, you can. If you built the axe, you can chop down one of the larger trees. It was just the axe head. You have to find some of the smaller like vines and smaller branches.
Nice. So when you hit a small tree, I got a larger stick and a smaller stick, and I also got some more of these vines. All right, guys, we are back, and now what I'd like to do is show you some of the crafting you can do. So let's take a look. I have this little stick, and I want to combine that with some of those vines that I found, and one of these types of rock. So I'm going to get the one that can chop down trees. So that's kind of the flattened rock head there. And then, Andrew, it's G to start crafting, right?
Yep.
Cool. It just crafted together into a nice-looking little axe. Nice. So now with the axe, I can chop down larger trees. I can still chop down smaller ones, which I'm actually going to do because I want to continue to pick up these sticks and twigs, because those twigs and sticks are pretty useful. Alright, that tree doesn't want to go chop. There we go. Nice. And it looks like I found some kind of mushroom forest, because I just found a mushroom that's like enormous.
Yeah, there's some large. I think you're in the swamp biome that has just a lot of really interesting life to it. A lot of really unique environmental assets to it, like the large mushrooms and just really.
I don't know if large quite covers it, but they're definitely pretty big. I can chop them down, but I don't think I get anything from them, huh?
Not yet.
Okay, cool. So like we said, guys, this game is definitely an alpha, so keep that in mind as you're checking this out, because there's some things that just aren't in yet. But what's cool is I found some nice trees here that now I have an axe I can chop down. So without the full-blown axe, I want to be able to chop this down. Typically, you'll get a little bit more of these twigs and sticks from the larger trees, and then the big thing that gets chopped down, you can hit again, and those will break down into pieces of like logs and stuff. Nice. Alright, I've got a ton of things now. What I'm probably going to want to do, though, is grab another couple pieces of wood. So let's see what else, or stone. So that looks like another axe head. I don't want that. That's too big of a stone to break. What did I get here? That might be cool. Let's combine this with another one of these twigs and another one of these vines, and craft that together. This, I think, will give me a hammer, if I'm correct. Oh, yeah. Look at this. I'm like a pro at this game. Oh, I hear something. There's an animal nearby. Anyway, hammers can break up the larger stones. So basically, in order to break small pieces of stone, you just get a piece of stone, and in order to break the small trees, you can use a small piece of stone. But if you want to break anything larger, and get more resources out of it, you're obviously going to have to craft a tool. So I wonder if I can find that animal that I just heard. How about we'll come back in a second, guys, once I find him, if I find him. All right, guys, I see an animal. I think it's a goat. He's trying to run away. If I want a spear, I need one of those crafting tables, don't I?
Yes.
Okay. Let me see if I can find one nearby. So not everything can be crafted right on the ground. You actually have to find a suitable crafting surface. And typically that requires, to get started, a piece of stone, but then you can later on craft an item that will work for you. So let me find one. This might work. Let's see. So I think it's a long stick, one of those vines, And, oh, I need one of those flint things. Let's see if I can find one of those sharp, pointy sticks. Where might I find a sharp, pointy stone? Alright, guys, looks like I found one of those pointy stick things that I wanted. So let me drop that there, and I think it's just that. Craft it? Cool. So this flat rock here works as, you know, a nifty little crafting surface. Maybe I moved before it finished. There we go. Nice. I got a spear.
Awesome.
Now let's see. Will one hit kill this thing?
It should, yeah.
And I know he was over in this direction. I hear him. It's kind of hard to see with all this tall grass. Oh, is that him? That's him. Alright, hold on. Alright, I hit T. I went into throwing mode here. And he ran behind a rock because he's a very smart goat. And I fell into a ravine because I'm a very dumb player. Now, if I run, will that, like, spook him more?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay, cool. So that kind of thing is already in, because he's definitely running away from me at the moment. So let's see if I can get him.
You definitely have to be creative with how you track him and get close enough to him
All
so
right.
that you can get the kill.
All right, he's trying. He's running. Oh, no. I think I missed him somehow. That's terrible. Because I got up real close to him. He's stuck in, like, you know, some trees and a rock.
Yeah.
But I think he might have gotten out already. Let me track him down. Where'd he go?
Yeah, in some of the denser areas, he does tend to get stuck a bit. Yeah, it's just one of the things working on.
Right. Like we said, alpha game.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the things that...
I hear him. We'll be right back when I find him. Alright, guys. He's in the distance there. He just ran behind some tall grass. I really like the physics in the game, Andrew, because it's definitely clear that you need to angle your spear upwards in order to throw properly.
Yeah, it's not perfect yet. There's still a bit of tweaking, but yeah, we definitely took a bit of time to really kind of make that feel good, so that whenever you're throwing, the angle is reflected, and it's not just a single trajectory going flying across the world.
Oh, I just missed him.
Yeah, we recently integrated Havoc a couple releases ago, so we've really just been trying to take advantage of the Havoc system and use it to its full potential to make you know, really interesting and dynamic gameplay.
Oh, this swamp is creepy at night. The fog's like purplish.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
I just transitioned from a swamp into a forest now, it looks like. Alright, I'm totally not going to catch this goat. But speaking of the goat, you were telling me something that's really cool about the goat, and I want to tell my viewers about this right now, because like I said, I'm really into, like, you know, the modding community, and I like some of the things that modders make for games, because it's a cool aspect to have a bunch of different, you know, different people kind of contributing ideas and stuff. It almost open sources the game, but not really. It kind of makes it so that, you know, tons of people can contribute and you can add on to the game almost infinitely once you get a really solid modding community. So correct me if I'm wrong, but basically what you guys did is write what's almost like a modding API, and then you decided to write the game itself using that modding API. Is that right?
Yeah. We're using Lua for our scripting language, and we've just been bridging our engine. We wrote a lot of our prototype of the game in the engine itself, and then have slowly been porting and developing new gameplay in the scripting language. So essentially what we're doing is we're writing the engine and the game, but the game is a reflection of that modding API. So that's almost a way for us to test the quality of the modding API, is that if we can't do something in it, then we can't expect modders to do it either. So
Right.
So the goal is to have the majority of the actual gameplay running through the modding API, and so
That's cool.
getting closer and closer to that with every release.
So your basic plan then is to pretty much the entire game, once you're done, will basically be written in Lua in the modding API.
Right. A lot of a lot of the low level stuff will still be engine, like the terrain, like not how the terrain, like you will be able to control terrain generation, but the actual terrain generation code is in the engine. There's a lot of parts where it's a balancing act of the really complicated stuff needs to stay in the engine and really doesn't need to change. So we just expose the bits and pieces that are flexible and can change, and so you can use those and tweak those to make unique things in the game.
Right. That's cool. That's, I think, pretty awesome.
Cool.
Oh, by the way, I think I just made a nifty little knife. So, because I'm getting hungry, I want to find some food and maybe even do a little bit of farming.
Okay.
Because one of the things I really like is the nifty way you guys have it so that when you plant trees and saplings and bushes and stuff, they kind of grow.
Yeah.
So I want to see that. But first I need to find some food.
Yeah, and all the growing stuff is one of the examples of stuff that is currently completely written in the modding API.
I found an apple tree.
Yeah. So the goat and the farming and the growing are all things that you can actually look at right now. Once the new update is out, is you can look at those scripts and see how they're running and going, and all that stuff is right there.
Right. So if you actually go into the files like that you download, you'll see a bunch of Lua scripts, and you can actually see the code that controls the goat or the player. Some pieces of the player, not all of the players, I think, done in Lua yet, right? But
right. There's still some parts that are tied to the engine, and like I said, we're just working on porting that over. It's we have to split our time efficiently between writing new features, developing tech for the engine, porting over logic to the scripting language. Just, there's a lot of things we got to balance out, because if we go too heavy in one direction, the other pieces are going to miss out and just not progress correctly. So
that makes sense. So tell me a little bit about what the future you have planned, because I believe it's more than just like a survival game, right? You plan to have PvP. I think you plan to have like a magic system built in. Like, you have a lot of stuff that I've heard talked about here and there.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of features coming online, and a lot of that is driven by what the community wants. Like I said earlier, we shifted direction to survival because that's what people wanted. So we definitely want the community to help drive us the direction of the game they want to play. So yeah, we have survival itself is supposed to be the open world. It will eventually be multiplayer. You can either collaborate, you can fight other people to take their stuff, or just territory wars, whatever. You can collaborate with them to fight off monsters. Like you said, magic. There's going to be a magic system. I can't go into too much detail about it right now because we don't really want to reveal too much right now. But it's definitely going to be cool. Some of the ideas we have to implement for that. Civilizations to come across, ancient ruins to discover. There's just a lot of stuff that's going to come online. And there's a lot of features and functionality that will work across the modes. Like anything, obviously, that we put in survival mode that you can craft and make or whatever will be in creative mode. So if you're more of the fan of just building and making cool stuff without having to worry about dying or getting killed by monsters or fending off other players, there's that for you. And then the Proving Grounds PvP mode, which is just short-term arena-based PvP. So we have a few ideas for that. Like team-based things. I don't want to commit to saying like capture the flag, but game modes along those lines within that. Just some flavor on it, and that's kind of what that does for us. For one, is that really lets us refine the combat experience for the other mode that can come along.
That's cool.
So yeah, and there will be some ties between those modes, lore-wise, but I can't. Like I said, I can't go into too much detail on that one.
I don't blame you. I understand.
And then on top of that, I really look forward to what the modders and the community come up with themselves. We're really getting to that point where the modding API is fairly refined, and you should be able to start building your own modes and adding on to the modes we've made and all kinds of stuff. So really looking forward to seeing what the community comes up with.
Nice. So by the way, I've gotten to the point where I need to show off something new.
Okay.
Not all crafting can be done with just your hands, right? So one example of that is if you want to get seeds from either apples or something else, what you do is you have to hold this knife in your hand in order to do it. And it looks like I put down 2 apples, so let's do that. Let's get this other one. There we go. So I should have 2 apple seeds now. And I can plant one. And we should get a little apple sapling growing. Cool. Do apple saplings have to be planted in tilled earth, or is that just the other thing?
Yeah, they have to be in
tilled.
Anything you plant has to be in tilled earth.
Okay. So I know they need like a decent amount of space to grow. So I don't want to plant this other one that I have now that I have 2.
Yeah, some things require a little more. Some things, require less. It's just you can experiment and kind of play around, see what works.
Nice.
For your farm.
I'm crouching because I like to watch the little growing animation. It's cool, man. It looks good. I think it's neat. Can I plant these berries that I found?
I don't remember if you have to process those along with the apples. Let's see.
I did something. I don't know what I just did. I crafted something. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna try and plant them and see what happens.
Yeah, go for it.
That's one of the things about this game is you kind of have to just kind of experiment a little bit. You guys don't really want to spell everything out about how everything works.
Right. A lot of it is player exploration and discovery. We don't really want to, hold the player's hand through the experience and tell them this is how you do this, this, and this, and this, and just leave out the, the discovery of learning something new. We want people to discover things new for a long time.
I just got a goat.
Oh, awesome.
So what do I do with them now that I've got them?
You killed it?
Yeah. So what do I do with them?
Cool. Well, you can harvest them. I think you made a knife earlier.
I did. I do have a knife in here somewhere.
And maybe try to skin them or something.
Okay. How do I do that?
You should just be able to go up to him with the knife and left click on him.
He's also a little bit in the ground.
Oh,
so
hitbox is a little funky still.
But that was good. I mean, he was stuck in a corner, so I'm not like an expert hunter yet, but he still died. Ooh, a banana. I want a banana tree. My health bar down there, by the way, is this blue bar, and you can kind of see it's getting low, guys. So let's see if I can craft with this knife in my hand. Maybe bananas don't. Maybe I just plant the banana directly? Or maybe I can't have a banana tree yet. I can eat it, though, by left-clicking it, which is what I just did. Alright guys, we'll be back in a minute. I want to wait for these trees to grow so you can see what it's like once we've got some more grown trees. And then what I want to do is jump into another world or two and show you a couple different environments. Alright guys, we're back. So the next thing I want to show you is a fire pit. So I think I need 2 of these little rocks, these 3 pieces of wood here, and 1 flat rock. And if I hit G on that, that should come together. Oh, neat. Fire pit. Cool. Look at that. And I think I figured out why I couldn't harvest this animal. Is he still down there? Oh, I think he despawned. Will his corpse despawn after a while, I guess?
Yeah.
Aw.
I believe it's about 5 minutes or so.
Yeah. Oh, but I hear another one. I hear another goat.
You might not get so lucky with this one.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I'm terrible at this. But I do want to plant another type of tree. Or another bush, at least. Oh, one of my trees is almost grown. Nice. Alright, so I can get this thing. This will give me like a little bush of some kind of food. Let's look at it grow. That's neat. So, is this game currently available? Can you guys, are people able to pick it up?
Yeah, you can pick it up through Steam right now. And pretty soon we're going to re-enable purchases directly through our website as well. It's on the early access program in Steam. So yeah, if you like what you see in the video, I encourage you to go pick it up, support us as indie developers. We'd like to stay independent.
Oh yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
That way you can kind of do the game your way and do it right, instead of having bosses and deadlines and get it done now and release it before it's ready and that kind of thing.
Exactly. We really just want to keep our culture the same. We want to keep our ability to interact with the community the same. We want to show that you can be successful and be indie. You know, I mean, other games have shown that obviously, but we just want to be another case in there. Yeah.
Dude, I almost hit that goat, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it makes for good games, especially these indie studios that are just, I think Minecraft definitely helped to bring indie a little bit more into the spotlight, and some of these games are just really good.
Yeah, there's a lot of high quality stuff, and I know a lot of people, I've worked at, a traditional studio, I've worked with a lot of people who have, and I know a lot of people who used to be, quote unquote professional game developers at a studio, and now they're making really cool, badass indie games.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of good stuff coming out, and a lot of exciting stuff, a lot of fresh ideas.
So I just loaded up one of my worlds that I've got here. That I've been playing with a little bit. I've obviously got some farms going on. I've got this little bush. I don't even know what it is. I've got, I think, an orange tree and an apple tree. What's cool is once the apples have fully grown, you can either pick them right off the tree to pick them up, I believe, right?
Yeah.
If they're done growing, but if they're not, I don't think you can. And then once they're really, really done, if they're overgrown or something, like, they'll just fall to the ground. That's neat. This little guy here is like a little storage satchel. It's a leaf and some string and some sticks. I can pick it up. Now, it's not currently implemented that you can actually store things in it, but that's going to be a storage container at some point, right?
Yeah, it's just one of those work in progress things. We want to put it in there, show that we're working towards that. Obviously you need a place to store your stuff so other players or creatures won't take it from you.
Right. Are you going to have creatures in here that can come by and just steal items out of stuff?
We might, yeah.
Nice. I'm just kind of digging into the earth at the moment. You have a bunch of caves and stuff, too. I have to find a cool cave system to show off, because there's some really neat stuff underground in cave systems.
Yeah. Might take you a while to find one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty deep down in there.
I'm building a wall out of mud. And having a good time with it. That's cool. So yeah, as you can see, I've collected just a bunch of resources, that I've just kind of been storing here. There's also chests. There's a crafting table you can make. There's a bed that sets your spawn. But I just kind of wanted to jump around in a couple different worlds, and I found one world I found was really neat. I think it's this one. I spawned in some kind of like ice biome. Oh yeah, this is it. So do you guys have some kind of like, what's it called? Maybe a tundra or something? But it's like, a bunch of trees, some blue ice crystals on the ground here. Can I do anything with these ice crystals yet that have like kind of a glowing, fiery effect on them?
Not yet. There's those will be used in the future. One of the things about TUG is that everything in the world has a purpose and is interactable. So anything you see will at one point be useful for something.
Right.
or harmful.
Right.
One or the other. But yeah, the entire world is interactable.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, with the biomes you have are pretty cool. But we have been working on for a while. I guess we're calling it like Terrain 2.0, or it's we've rewritten all of our terrain stuff from scratch. Um, the way we generate the noises we use and all that, and just we built a system that was a lot more flexible, memory efficient, speed efficient. Uh, a few of the things is that we'll have much further view distances through our LE system. Much more interesting and dynamic biomes. Biomes won't really be considered the same way. They'll be more of a mix and match instead of a biome is a certain set of features. It'll be a combination of sets of features. And that's coming online pretty soon. And one of the other big things, like you were just mentioning, you were placing mud, and that mud is a block, right? And
Right.
you have this beautiful, smooth terrain world, but when you go to craft or when you go to place and dig, it's just blocks. It just looks really out of place. So one of the things we're accomplishing with the new terrain is allowing us to have unique shapes. So when you dig in the world, it's not going to be a block. It might be, like you were actually hitting it with a pick and it was, just cutting it out a bit at a time, right? When you place something, it might be more of a pile shape instead of a block, or a rounded off shape, and then ability to take something and then just kind of smooth it out, expand it, push pull, all that. So we're really looking forward to getting that in and seeing some of the creativity that can come with how you build your world. And,
I like it.
It really allows us to use the tools effectively. So instead of just having a pick and then like an improved pick for other type of materials, and then another improved pick to break more stuff, we'll have entirely different tools that have completely different functionality, how they deform the world or add on to the world. They each have their own little bit of functionality, and really just allow us to expand the arsenal of which you can interact with the world.
Right. That's neat. I like that idea, that you can get away from the blocks, right? Obviously, it's alpha right now, so,
Yeah.
There's some things that just aren't implemented yet, but that sounds very cool to me.
Yep.
I'm playing around in the creative menu right now, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Checking out some of these crystals and stuff that you've got. A couple of them don't look like they want to let me place them. That's cool.
Yeah.
What's neat is when you're in creative mode, you can actually like use these buttons to. On the bottom here, you can see like if I'm in number 3 mode, it lets me look around and decide where to place something. But in 4 mode, I can actually rotate the item that's getting placed. Or in 5 mode, I think some items can be larger or something like that. There we go. Now I can place the crystals. I must have been just doing it wrong.
Yeah. We implemented that as like a proof of concept of manipulating objects in the world, but one of the things we're going to do in the future is it's kind of an overall pass, but an overall pass on the user experience and UX design, and we really just want to at some point focus on the user experience of placing and interacting with objects in the world, so that you have the freedom and control that you want without feeling like you're in some massive modeling tool that requires too much complexity to get what you want. We want it to be simple but powerful.
Right. And that makes sense. I don't know, man. I like it. I think the graphics, in my opinion, are really nice. Like, you've got some really impressive terrains here. And I've only shown maybe half, not even half. I'm sure I've only shown maybe a quarter of them. We saw desert and tundra. But, I mean, just in general, some of the things that are in this game are really nice looking. And the physics is really good, too. I really like the whole, like, you put something down and it falls down a cliff face or whatever, right?
Right. Yeah. We currently have, I believe it's 16 or 17 biomes in the game.
Right.
They all look fairly unique.
All right, guys. So I think we pretty much covered a lot of the basics of Tug. Some of the things, like I said, that I'm most excited about, Andrew, is that whole we're making our game with our own modding API. Like, that's just a cool concept to me because it kind of forces you guys to make sure that everything you do to make the game as you want to make it is also available to the modders so that they can mod that element, right?
Right, and on top of the API, we're also building tools to be used. In this version, we're actually going to ship a model viewer that has some basic animation play support. So you can see if you're building a model to put in game, you can see what it looks like, how it would look like if it works, if it doesn't work, before you go through the effort of putting it into the game and getting it running. So that's just an example of some of the things we're working on, that not just the scripting language itself, but tools to come along with it to help build the mods.
Right, for modelers and texture artists and that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Because I've definitely got a couple buddies like that who are like, I'm really good at art, but I am not a programmer.
Yeah.
So like the modders work with those texture artists and modelers, and like they come together and wind up with a really nice product. So that's cool. So yeah, I think we're about to wrap up here. Or anything else you wanted to mention? I know it's available on Steam. How much was it?
It's $9.99 currently for early access.
Nice.
You buy now, get it forever. All updates and content in the future will be yours to have. So
That's
yeah.
cool. I like that model. Like, I'm all about those alpha games that are like, you get free updates for life for supporting us early, as opposed to people that are like, give us a whole lot of money early and you don't get anything for it.
Yeah. So if you like what you saw, support us. Buy now while it's still $9.99. In the future, we will be increasing the price just as we feel like we've gotten to the point where the price point is deserving of being an increase. But
Right,
yeah,
obviously. Like, it's not going to be $9.99 forever, so now's a good time to jump in
right.
if you're at least interested in it. So I think
Yeah.
it's coming along really nice. Like, I've seen the progress that you guys have done over the last few months. You've obviously added a lot of content and features, and you've got more to come. So I'm excited. And thanks for your time today, Andrew. I think it was definitely cool to talk to you, hear the perspective of one of the, you're the lead developer of the game, right? So
Lead programmer, yeah.
lead programmer. Nice.
Yep.
So it's
Yeah,
definitely
well,
cool to hear your perspective on what you guys want to have in the future and what your goals with this game. So I think very cool, man. Thank you very much.
well, thank you very much. It was really nice to chat.
Cool. All right, guys. So this is Direwolf20 signing off. Hope you enjoyed checking out Tug, the untitled game. Definitely check it out on Steam. Definitely worth, playing around with. Like I said, it's alpha, so expect bugs, expect an incomplete experience. But at the same time, you get a game that will have free updates for life and is definitely coming along nicely. All right, guys. Take it easy.